So, question number one. How has stress management changed since you started working with Tiger?
I would say that I've been able to deal with stress a lot easier, meaning like when it comes up, I have tools that I can look at the stress as well. Let me say it this way. I have tools that I can use to manage the stress more effectively because before, or I used to maybe get into like a stress mode where everything else around me would become stressful. And now I can kind of cut it off at the head and become more effective in how I deal with it.
Have you or did you experience burnout prior to working with Tiger?
I did, but a long time ago. I had gotten to a point before working with Tiger where I had gotten past that, meaning I used to work a ton. Like I used to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and then realized that wasn't the lifestyle I wanted. So I had found other ways to deal with burnout and get more in alignment with my values and what I enjoyed doing, so I would avoid burnout. um, and that being said, I love some of the tools I picked up along the way in the Tiger Flow program. That was really cool to get some extra tools under my belt and also to understand where burnout comes from, because I think having that information also allows you to deal with it before it actually comes to fruition.
Tell me about your sleep before working with Tiger and what you've learned since working with Tiger.
Oh my goodness. My sleep was probably the biggest thing that I improved upon and understood at a much, much higher level. Um, I used to have habits around my sleep, and then I fell out of them. And I was like, well, it doesn't really matter if I go to bed at the same time or wake up at the same time. I just kind of will sleep as long as I want to. And working with you guys and working with Tiger Nero, I really saw like the data behind my sleep patterns, along with getting different habits to go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time, and really getting my rhythm. And so it really improved. Like one of the things coming in is my REM sleep was really low,
Hmm.
and so putting in some of these habits and then even breathing before bed and getting these different techniques really helped me to improve that, along with my actual like consistency in sleep. Because before, especially if I was dealing with stress, I would be thinking about things before I went to bed, and then it would cause me to stay up until 4 a.m. and then I'm stressed that I'm not sleeping, and then I stay up even longer. And so there was a bunch of techniques that I used over the time to, one, calm that down before going to bed, but two, also be able to not even have that come up, because if I'm consistent with my sleep patterns, then it's almost just like an on-off switch, which was really, really cool.
Last question. Maybe you've already covered this a little bit. What are the biggest changes you've seen in your life since working with Tiger?
I would say some of the biggest changes in my life have definitely been around sleep, my sleep habits. I feel like when I was working a 9 to 5 job, it was go to bed, wake up, same time every day. And then when I became an entrepreneur, I kind of let that slide a little bit and everything was a little more loose. So I, some nights stay up really late and then wake up later, and then some nights go to bed early and wake up early. So I would say consistency in my habits around sleeping have made a drastic improvement in my overall like restfulness, like how I feel during the day. Like that's been huge. Like I used to drink 4 cups of coffee in the morning, and I don't even like, I've actually cut back my coffee intake a ton too. Like I'm drinking it today, but I haven't drank coffee in the last week, which is pretty is pretty good for me, just because like I'm getting that more consistent sleep, and I'm feeling more rested when I wake up because my sleep habits are back in tune. So that's been a huge improvement. along the other side, I would say, not necessarily on the sleep side, but just on my week to week kind of habits, is becoming more productive. Really finding specific blocks of time that I can put into like getting things done. Like one of the things that you helped me put in was flow blocks. So I just really go through an hour of work and just knock off my to-do list, as opposed to letting it sit there in the background running. So I'm less productive in everything else I do. So
Yeah.
that was also really cool.